What's up, coaches? Welcome to the first class of the Coach's Compound. So today, I believe that the most important aspect for a coach to first have is some of the scientific backgrounds of things that we'll be seeing in coaching. AKA, today is anatomy. So for all of you science whizzes out there that already know this, please keep in mind that this is completely for brevity. I'm not actually going in detail too much about anatomy because, as you know, there are whole semester long classes about this topic. So this is literally skating the surface 90%. I'm going over just what I believe is frankly important for a coach, which not all of it is important. Okay? So the first part about anatomy is figuring out some of the different systems, organ systems. In this case, we're only going to go over two because the other ones just aren't as important for exercise. Okay? So number one, skeletal. Number two, muscular. Those two should hopefully be familiar with you, that you've heard of both those words, skeleton, muscles. Okay? So we'll start off with skeletal. Now, what do you think skeletal is? I think we all know. Your skeleton, aka your bones. But the thing that is relevant about knowing things about your skeleton is the fact of what it does. So what do you think your skeleton does? Think about your bones and how they're structured and what they are doing in your body. So first and foremost, I'll probably say that it's for structure. If I didn't have any bones, I would just be loopy. I would have no structure to myself. Because as you know, bones are rigid. Okay? Rigid. So they hold you up in place. Okay? Next, very, 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 very important, protection. So think about parts that are most bony and think about what they're protecting. The good old noggin, the brain. This skull is so stinking tough that it's for a specific purpose. Imagine if there was no skull. This would literally make me brain dead doing that. Okay? Then also think about your rib cage. Think about all that's going on right here. What do we have? Heart, stomach, liver, we have the kidneys, all of that in this central area with the rib cage wrapping around it. Very, very important for protection. This, without my skeleton, would probably end my life, especially this. Okay? So that is probably one of the most important. Let's talk about, I don't know if you can see it sticking out, but we all know what it is, the spine. So think about what the spine is. It's just a column, okay, of vertebrae. In between the vertebra, so imagine there's this hole, is the spinal column. Now think about, if you've never learned anything about the spinal column, the spinal cord, then now you're going to kind of figure out why it's so important that we keep this as strong and as safe as possible. Is whenever that spinal cord is ruptured, injured, that's when we see paralysis and sometimes even death. So it is of utmost importance for that spine. Okay? As well as, you can see how it keeps you upright. So that would be the importance of the skeletal system. Like I said, we're scratching the surface. We'll go over the specific bones later, but I wanted to go over just a little bit of what the two systems are that we're going to be talking about. Next, muscular. So think about what muscles do. What do you think? Bones support you, create structure, but what do the muscles do? So imagine my arm here. Imagine just the bones in your arm. Now, think about what different muscles do. What do you do for a bicep curl? This. Without muscles, your body, I would not be able to be moving around. I would literally just be, not even standing here actually, because it's the back muscles and the core muscles that keep you upright. So, muscles are what makes you move. That's why it's so important when you do movements that you're building muscles. Because this movement will help me build biceps. This movement, triceps, shoulders. You can't really see my legs, but quads, hammies, stuff like that. So the muscular system is what overlays onto the skeletal system. Once again, we'll use my arm, just easiest to see right now. You see at the beginning, well, technically the end, and then the beginning of a muscle is what's called a tendon. A tendon connects a muscle to a bone. That's where you've heard like tendinitis, tendinopathies, things like that. So, these tendons here at the end and at the beginning do not stretch, or they're not supposed to stretch a whole lot. Okay? Muscle stretches a ton. Okay? Tendons do not. So, what we're trying to think about with this kind of framework, the reason it's important as a coach is it's just good to know the underlying things of a person's physiology or anatomy in this case. Okay? It's important for you to know why their skeletal system is there. You'll see why it's so important when someone says, "Oh my gosh, my back. Like I feel like I just broke something in my back." It's like, that's a big deal. "Oh, I just snapped my arm." That's a big deal when you start to think about the supporting aspect of a bone. Okay, and obviously there's way more that goes into it, but that's this top level. Then your muscular system obviously is important for CrossFitters in my circumstance, but any kind of fitness. How would you do fitness without muscles? Okay, any kind of weird movements that you can think of, a muscle is doing that, and a combination of muscles is always doing that. Okay, so like I said, skating the surface. Hopefully you can take this, keep that in the back of your mind, and as we go on, we're going to be starting with going over different bones and different muscles the next time that we talk. Okay? So, keep this in your mind. Try to learn some more. You can go online, read about it. And like I said, keep it at the surface. Don't get too in detail. If you want to learn more, take a class. We'll go over more, but we're just not going to go as in detail as a class. Okay? So remember, guys, stop searching, start coaching.